Paps, CEO of Uptowncann Cannabis Co. We're here to talk, I know a lot of people got a lot of questions. It's about time, we bring this uptown.
That's right.
Nice. Where Paps says this is the Mecca, this is also the incarceration Mecca as well. So we have to be very conscious of when we talk about the war on drugs. That's what that means. Like, our community was devastated by the war on drugs. I know that there's narratives out there about individuals pinning groups against other groups, and we got family that got deported.
Let's get into it right off the bat. Everyone's going to give their kind of talk, right? We have the chair of the New York Cannabis Control Board here, listening.
Hello, so my name is Jess Gonzalez. I am a cannabis and intellectual property attorney at Hiller PC. My experience working in New Jersey, I have a front row seat to the obstacles and the challenges that applicants are facing because I'm in the thick of it right now. If you are looking to apply for a state license, you got 4 buckets that you should look at, right? The first one is you're going to be looking at funding, right? In terms of how are you going to put forth, seed capital? How are you going to get the capital needed to build out your facility, right? The next one that I want you to pay attention to is your team. This isn't something that a one-person team can do. And if there's anybody here with experience running a company, you do know that you need a team, right? So now you have to choose a trademark. You have to be very selective about it because you will not be able to operate under any DBAs or alternative names.
Problema con la solución, because I did bring the problem, but I have the solution, of course. What can you do with marijuana now? And to talk really briefly on what licenses look like. And so, as you know, marijuana is legal for possession. So if you are 21 years old or older, you are allowed to possess up to 3 ounces of weed, and you're allowed to publicly consume that marijuana wherever tobacco is allowed. So it's not everywhere you're allowed to publicly consume, but you are allowed to publicly consume where it's allowed. Are you allowed to sell marijuana legally? No, there are no licenses yet. Think about the MRTA. When we did the MRTA, think of a house that gets built, right? And then you have to put all the other things. That's the regulations. The regulations now have, we built a frame with the MRTA, and now the regulators are going to come in and fill that house.
I'm Vladimir Bautista, co-founder and CEO of Happy Monkey. We do everything from advocacy to media to merchandise to apparel. And cannabis, I believe if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here speaking in front of you today, because from mental health wise, to be able to deal and cope with growing up that way, to being able to support myself financially. We have things that they can't learn in the university, you can't read in a book. It's just about harnessing it and really applying it to really benefit our community. There will be a percentage of the taxes that will go to the communities like this most impacted to the war on drugs. So I want to thank Tremaine and all the people and the regulators.
Tremaine, right, y'all.
Good evening, everyone. It is a joy to be here this evening. This is about, when we say social equity, it's not so that somebody else can come and open a store in your neighborhood. It's so that we can figure out how you want to participate in this industry and how we as an agency support that activism and that activity. So a large part of our work in our social equity arm is to support entrepreneurs. We are hoping that the $200 million that was mentioned is used in a way that we can identify and invest in and support social equity applicants. That's key and core to this work, and we want to make sure that we're doing it properly. We're just trying to make sure that we get people in the door so that the structure of the business plan that they're ready to present is strong. So we really want people to do well, and we want people to be prepared. And we want you ready to go when our regulations become available. But the other challenge that I'm going to make is all of the regulations come out in draft form. There is a 60-day window wherein we're asking people in the community to look and read and then to send us comments. We are looking at an 18-month window to go live without adult use, but that means that we're also trying to release our first draft of regulations in the coming months. So probably by the beginning of spring, we're hoping to release our first draft of regulations.
Will there be an opportunity to obtain multiple licenses in different sides of the business? Can a micro business obtain a cultivation license and a delivery license?
If you have a dispensary license, you are allowed to have 3 locations. So you do not have 3 licenses.
So if I'm a license holder and I have 3 retail, but there's other license holders that don't know how to operate, can I take over their operations but not own the company?
So we hear of that in the retail space as well as in the cultivation space, and we are considering it in our regulations.
And with education for our young people about the plant, about our elders, and more importantly, the medicinal and health purposes.
We are mandated under the law to do education that includes youth and, let's see, we have youth while pregnancy, as well as driving concerns that we must address.
How is the how is the office of the OCM office going to manage a Class A? Everybody across the board gets an A. How can we get licenses and whether those maximums go and waiting lists and all that? Like how do we make sure that everybody can ace the class and participate?
The way in which we ask you to prove your funds or your access to money is important. We have not determined what that question looks like at this point, but that is something that we need you to look at and to chime in on, because how we ask that question is really important. Because we don't have answers to, and we do not have the ability to protect people from federal enforcement.
I want to thank everybody for coming out. Y'all already know, man. These conversations don't continue happening. So make sure to tune in.